Angelo was born on April 4, 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri. Angelo had a difficult childhood.
Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folari. Let's take a look at security again in the Northeast, especially. As you know, a couple of days ago, the governor in Borno had visited Professor Zulum had gone to the president specifically to, as it were, touch base again on the very, very important subject of security in the North generally, but then in his state in particular. Well, the highlight of that really is that he thought that now that the forest guards have been created, it was a game changer. To quote his words, it was a game changer. So let's talk a bit about that. And our guest is Dr. Sani Abdullahi Shinkafi, security consultant and executive director, Patriots for the Advancement of Peace and Social Development. A fine morning to you, Dr. Shinkafi.
Good morning, Chief Yori. Thank you for having me in the program.
Thank you very much, sir. Just Yori will do. Thank you very much for making time for us this morning. It's an urgent matter. The president is aware of the urgency. In fact, he has set up the forest guards, not just for the North and in particular the governor's state, but all across the country. Now, the governor speaking about it, his commentary on that were the words, "It is a game changer," while vowing that on his part as the governor, he would make sure that they engaged with the armed forces and all the authorities to ensure that no local government falls further in his state. So I guess what we can talk about here is how he thinks that the forest guards are going to be, in fact, is a game changer. Once it's up and running, it'll be a game changer. So let's talk a bit about the forest guards. That seems to be, the governor has sort of set the subject matter. Let's talk about these forest guards. We've spoken about it before, but let's look at it again. Give me your impressions on how the forest guards could change. How would they be armed? What categories of arms would be acceptable? And, that kind of a thing. In short, your assessment of this particular initiative by the president that Governor Zulum highlighted.
Well, on the issue of the National Forest Guard, which Mr. President have announced that the government will go into recruitment across the 36 states of the Federation, is long overdue. The Forest Guard, if we are properly trained, are the one who will now assist the conventional security in the fight against terrorism and also armed banditry in the Northwest. These forest guards are already in place, but they are not armed. Under Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, I could remember when I was in the civil service of Sokoto State before the creation of Zamfara State, under the Department of Forestry, there is forest guards. But these forest guards, their primary responsibility is to checkmate the deforestation of the forest and also to arrest those who are involved in deforestation of the forest, mostly the forest reserves. and also some games reserves.
Okay,
So,
exactly.
but if Mr. President have now said that they are going to complement the conventional security in the fight against insecurity, they have to be trained. And it's only in line with the Firearms and Prohibition Law. It's only the security personnel are only allowed to carry AK-47 rifle or other weapons. So I don't know what category are they going to be categorized as a paramilitary, or are they going to be categorized as part of some subsidiary of police or army? So there should be an act of National Assembly which will now give them the mandate to carry arms and also assist the armed forces or the security personnel in the fight against these armed banditry, insurgencies, and terrorism in Nigeria.
I think the biggest, maybe the biggest plus of bringing the forest guards into the fray is that they know the lie of the ground perhaps better than most, because as you were just pointing out, the primary concern is to protect against any injury to our forests, maybe even poachers and all of that. But when it comes to humans, criminals who are highly trained and who, as the governor himself said, are using sophisticated weaponry, you just pointed out that we don't know what the nature of assault equipment that they will have, because we're looking at, it seems that whereas we don't worry about the military because they are specially trained, they are trained, but the point is they might not be able to get into the nooks and crannies as the forest guards would know. So this has been a concern among commentators. And as you pointed out, if we even decide, that is the president and all the relevant authorities, that yes, they can bear assault rifles and all of that, that is going to take some training. And but the governor seemed to be quite optimistic that this was a game changer. So in between the knowledge that, look, it's one thing to establish the forest guards. In fact, as you have said, it's not really establishing the forest guards. The forest guards have been in existence. It's a matter of not knowing how they are going to transform into the kind of assignment that we are now placing on them to help combat all these terrorists, especially as the terrorists, the governor has said, even before the governor, commentators had said that the weaponry that is at their disposal is most sophisticated. But Governor Zulum has said that with this kind of an arrangement, no further local government will fall in his state. So I'm wondering, I hope we're not being too optimistic in this, especially against such a formidable foe as Boko Haram, and all these people that have been troubling us.
Yeah, you see, the issue of what the Governor Zulum said, that none of the Borno State Local Government Council will fall into the hands of insurgents. First and foremost, I want to salute the courage and his capacity and capability to visit this affected area, especially in Dikwa, Marte, and other Abadam. So I salute his courage when the other governors are busy attending national summit in the Bila, and other governors of APC and other governors of PDP are busy doing NEC meeting, national caucus meeting. Well, Zulum, the governor of Borno State, has conquered fear and remained very courageous in discharge of his constitutional mandate to exercise or uphold the prohibition of Section 14, subsection 2 of Nigerian Constitution. Because the every responsibility of every government is to provide security and welfare of his people. So I salute his courage, his capacity, and his determination to remain courageous to conquer fear in that regard. But on the issue of this statement he made, he has to look at some indices. How can this thing be achievable?
Yeah.
Looking at the porosity of the border, Borno State share boundary with Niger Republic, with Chad Republic, with Cameroon Republic, Republic of Cameroon. Looking at also the understaffed, the armed forces or the security personnel are understaffed, under-equipped in Borno State or in the even northeast region.
Yes.
How can this thing be achievable? The army should stop making motivational speeches, celebrating or making victory speeches. The army should squarely stand to their constitutional responsibility in fight against these insurgents and armed banditry in the Northwest. And average Nigerians have lost confidence sometimes on the victory speeches, motivational speeches, condemnation from the part of the federal government or on the part of the security personnel. What Nigerians need now is how to curtail this insecurity. And looking at this terrorism in Borno State is dimensional, because looking at the, terrorism has been categorized into three: international terrorism, domestic terrorism, transnational terrorism. International terrorism, Boko Haram have been factionalized to two groups. Another group of the Boko Haram are being aided or supported by ISWAP. ISWAP, that is Islamic West Africa province. Then the other one, Jama'atul Al-Sunnah wal Jihad. These are also some of the splinter group or part of the Boko Haram. The other group, ISWAP, has international connection. But the other group, the Jihadi, Jama'atul Al-Sunnah wal Jihad, are domestic terrorism. So some of these repented bandits disguise in supporting them in supplying logistics to their hideout. Looking at also the resurgence of the attack, the ISWAP have now changed the tactics of the insurgency, attacking military formation, attacking rural communities, sabotaging government through vandalizing of roads, bridges. So some of these insurgents are operating into a very difficult terrain, which is not motorable. And also how they expand their attacks using technology,
yes,
using internet, using armed drone. So it has taken another dimension. If they are attacking military formations, security installations, vandalizing facilities, then I think what Zulum is saying, it will be very difficult, because in 2013 to 2014, some of the areas Boko Haram are under control of Boko Haram is bigger than the size of Belgium. Almost 17 local government under control of Boko Haram out of 27 local government of Borno State. So there is a lot of challenges at hand. that the government need to sit up and address this issue. There is poverty, political manipulation, and social unrest. Supply of smaller and lighter arms to this land border of Chad, Cameroon, and Niger Republic. Yori, let me draw your attention. 17 states in Nigeria share boundary with Niger Republic, with Chad Republic, with the Benin Republic, with Cameroon Republic. 17 local government in the southwest. Oyo State share boundary with the Benin Republic. Lagos share boundary with the Benin Republic. Ogun share boundary with the Benin Republic. If you come to the north, Kwara State share boundary with the Benin Republic. Niger State share boundary with the Benin Republic. Kebbi State share boundary with Benin Republic and Niger Republic. Sokoto share boundary with Niger Republic. Zamfara share boundary with the Niger Republic. Yobe share boundary with the Niger Republic. Jiga share boundary with the Niger Republic. Katsina share boundary with the Niger Republic. Akwa Ibom share boundary with Cameroon. Benue share boundary with Cameroon. Taraba share boundary with Cameroon. Cross River share boundary with Cameroon. So looking at the porosity of the border from ungoverned space that gave room for smuggling of smaller and lighter weapons into Nigeria. So it is not only the porous guard is needed. We need to expand a technological advancement on how to monitor our land borders. Then also there is need for the Act of National Assembly to enact a law to establish National Border Control Agency, because custom and immigration are understaffed.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Dr. Shinkafi, because what you've just done is to, illustrate the expanse of territory that, is now confronting us. And of course, Governor Zulum, as you said, to be admired and indeed commended for his courage. But
I salute his courage.
Indeed.
And I like his determination in the fight against insecurity.
Yes, yes. Unrelenting. He's not giving up. And
he's unrelented.
Yes, but it still remains to be seen. No doubt the advisors of the president, and indeed the president himself who brought up the whole idea, we're yet to see how this is going to work, because we do want the problem to be addressed squarely, just like Governor Zulum was saying. But it's an uphill task. One doesn't want to be discouraging in any way, shape, or form, but it is an uphill task, and that is what is puzzling people, that how is this going to be? Given all that you've just enumerated, how are they going to be up to the task? In the first instance, they are not known to be armed. In fact, there are those who are saying that they wouldn't even advise that they be armed with assault weapons and all of that, maybe because of their training. But Governor Zulum has said that for his part, while he is sure that the government will, quote unquote, do something, that is, the federal government will do something, for his part, he's been mobilizing the communities, and this is another interesting point. Mobilizing the communities to resist, or is it to cooperate with the authorities? Because that might, I don't know the extent to which you think that will help. If the authorities don't just, if they're not just, what is the word now? Sort of accepting the situation and just being quiet. Because they are not known to be militant communities. There are some societies that are said to be militant. So I don't know the knowledge you have of the, shall we say, the militancy of those communities in Borno, for example, that we're speaking about, that can really resist pending the arrival of professional force to help them out. Then communication is going to be tremendously important in this, because it's one thing to alert the authorities that we are engaging with a situation here. It's another thing for the authorities to get the information in time and quickly run. And this links with something else that you pointed out, the numbers. This is a game of numbers. The military, the armed forces of Nigeria, they are not, they don't have unlimited numbers, and they have such a wide area to cover with other duties in addition to this one. So this is where people are knowing that we'll continue to pray. The governor will continue to rally his people. But how do you think that is going to work when Governor Zulum says that for his part as the governor, he's going to continue making sure that the communities are rallied and are sort of, well, I can't say up in arms, but that they're going to be rallied. What do you think this will involve?
Yeah, you see, the issue of civilian JTF
yes,
have started from Borno State. And this civilian JTF are just an ordinary civilians in the communities who were given training by the security personnel in the mobile police unit and even in the mobile police unit. So this civilian JTF, when Boko Haram in 2009, 2010, 2011, up to 2014, 2015, were also working with the conventional security to attack these insurgents in their hideout. And that is what also helped the conventional security in the fight against these insurgents. The major challenges the security personnel are facing in the fight against insurgency and armed banditry is getting a rapid response, support from maybe the air component, or also to get enforcement when they are overpowered by these insurgents. Because the challenges they have, these insurgents can come with let's say, more than one AK-47 rifle with over 10 magazines. But you see, an army will be posted to a formation or a base with only one rifle with only maybe one magazine or one extra magazine. Well, these criminals will have like 10 magazines with extra ammunition, more than 1,000 ammunition. How can you? Somebody with, let's assume somebody with 10 magazines. That is 300 rounds of ammunition. Well, somebody has only 2 magazines, having 60 rounds of ammunition. How can he defeat? How can he defeat these insurgents? So there is shortage of weapons. The personnel are understaffed. The air component, for them to get the support of the air component if they were attacked, there is no quick response. And also on the part of the weapons, there is shortage of weapons. So these insurgents have sophisticated weapons. And now they have advanced using armed drones. So if they are attacking army formations, a lot of people will be discouraged. Many army or security personnel who were posted to Northeast or in Borno or Yobe State, some of them have run away. They have deserted. Some of them have resigned. Some of them are nowhere to be found. So because they don't have enough equipment and weapons to fight these insurgents. So Zulum has experience of this civilian JTF. And if they now recruit some civilian JTF and hunters, they can equally serve as a forest guard in that regard. Because hunters know the terrain more than even the Boko Haram. Because hunters, no matter how deep forest is, hunters used to go there for hunting. So I will call the attention of the government. If government will now reach out to National Hunters Association and see how they can also be co-opted or integrated into the national recruitment of National Forestry Guard. I think also it will assist the government in the fight against insecurity, because these hunters will go to the forest and they will see these armed bandits or insurgents, and they will just find their way and go. And they know the terrain. They know how they can maneuver themselves in the terrain, in the deep forest. And also, if you look at the what do you call it, the Mambila and the Timbuktu forest and Sambisa, it has this like Chad. It is also, they need presence of Navy, warship in that. And that. If you go there, there is no presence of 1 or 2 warship in that like Chad region. And looking at also what is happening in the Sahel region, in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Senegal, in Somalia, many of these Sahel countries, regions, there is this issue of terrorism.
You know,
and it is very easy to smuggle all these arms to the land border. You can come from Mali to Burkina Faso to Niger to Zamfara. You can easily enter there up to Dipa, up to Dipa, which share boundary with Borno State.
Yet we cannot be discouraged in the light of Governor Zulum's gallant fight, so to speak, because he's speaking about moving around, going to the theaters. It's like they were brave words when he was saying that we shouldn't allow any local government to further to fall. These are gallant words, but I wanted to ask: is there a role in these circumstances for traditional rulers in the area?
Yeah, there is very tremendous role a traditional rulers can play through trying to proffer a homegrown solution. Some of these traditional rulers, they know this domestic terrorists. The complicity of the insurgency in Borno State, it is because of the infiltration of the international terrorists. So these ISWAP are not domestic terrorists. Okay. They are international terrorists, and they have affiliation with the main faction of the Boko Haram when the Boko Haram split into the 2 groups. So that is some of the major challenge. The traditional rulers can proper homegrown solution using non-kinetic approach. Religious leaders also can play a very vital role also in preaching, telling these terrorists and armed bandits the consequences of killing a mankind has a higher penalty in accordance with the Islamic injunction. So if that is such preaching, I think, and other public enlightenment by the government, I think it will also help issue using non-kinetic methodology.
Okay.
Because you have to use 2 approach, kinetic and non-kinetic approach, crook and stick approach. Because you cannot say that you must end war through use of military force, but you have to also apply non-kinetic methodology to solve the problem.
Indeed.
So it is there where now the traditional ruler and the religious leaders can play a vital role in this fight against insecurity. That is the role they can play.
Talking about social...
And also there is need for the traditional ruler also to check the infiltration of immigrants in their domain because of the proximity of the border. Since Borno State share boundary with 3 countries.
Yeah.
So there should be a way how the traditional rulers, they will be checkmating the infiltration of immigrant, influx of the immigrant in their domain.
Well,
that will also help.
It will also help. But as you were saying, with all of these borders and the porosity of these borders, and the fact that these, especially those in the those bordering the states in the north, many of them they have actually commingled. They are not, very few of them have totally different languages so that you can tell them apart. Many of them, I even understand that they are intermarrying and all of that. When you couple all of that with the social development angle to all of this, when people in rural areas feel impoverished, they can't go to the farm, the poverty level is reportedly high. There's also the matter of education, orientation. Maybe some of the citizens in those areas might not even necessarily, because of a lack of proper education perhaps, they might not necessarily see these people as enemies the way we or the army or the forest guards would see them. They just know that some of these people that we have to fight, they actually might be relatives among them. How big a problem is that aspect to this situation?
No, you see there is one proverb in English that says, if you cannot beat them, join them. Most of these rural communities, these insurgents, armed bandits, cattle rustlers, kidnappers, have intermingled with them. And many of the inhabitants of that rural communities, they don't know where to go. Some of them have been
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon, Dr. Shikafi. Forgive me for interrupting you, but we do have a caller. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Who is on the line? Okay. I didn't catch that, but please go ahead. Go on. You're on now.
Yeah, yes, Mazo Krafo from Arisuku. Good morning.
Okay, Mazo Korafo. Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, from Arisuku. Good morning. You see, the issue of insecurity, that of Northeast, whether they do anything you may call it, whether we are talking about the forest guard or not forest guard, you see, these things are long overdue. What do I mean? If the local government authority, as the president approved, and the Supreme Court approved, that their resources are getting to them directly, they will have the opportunity to do the needful in terms of this forest guard. But because 90% to 92% of local government tenants are complaining that they are not seeing the dividends of the democracy in terms of the funding. So that's because you cannot run a state where the local government or the authority are dormant. They are doing nothing. Because the local government people are the people that knows about it. You see, the governor of Maiduguri or Borno State, for the past 7 months, 8 months, have been lamenting. They know I call them the whipping governor. But the thing is this: what do we do? Because we talk. Security men will come against, will come and talk their own talk. I read the story very good. They show us by television now. The needful have not been done. But the question is this: the local government authority should employ the forest guard, employ neighborhood watch, employ other plainclothes men, train them. I've been saying it. Israel, they have intelligence schools for security in Israel. South Africa, they have, if you can get 10 people, go send them at least 2 months, 3 months of the month, they will go and learn and come back. Collect the gadgets and come back. Local government, not the question of state too, because it's the responsibility of the local government authority to do the needful. That's the only solution. Now tell me, Sayuri. Now it's time for farming. Many people cannot go to farm. The IDPs, oh God, have mercy on us. The IDPs, many of them, the children cannot go to school. Where are the teachers without borders? Nowhere. Everybody's afraid. How can we be afraid with these terrorists? Do they have 20 heads? Are they not human beings? But if there is no human beings, that is he was talking on one summit, United Nations. He said, nobody has monopoly of violence. Nobody has monopoly, but we just kept quiet and had this, but they're doing something. A boy was coming back to look at how they killed a Reverend Father, going to celebrate Mass. So you didn't do anything and you killed them. What are you doing? No, look at it. It's not Borno. Where the street where you might get food. So a dry fish. When you take in the street, there's another fish from that place. You enjoy yourself because there are people at the age that say you don't eat with the fish. Where is the fish? The fish is not. Is it fish pond? Where is the fish pond? How many people can afford the fish pond? Honestly speaking, the forest guard is very, very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. We must do them. And the area we do it, the area we guard them, we have to train them. Train and retrain, bring the modern castle. The drone, where the drone is available. South Africa started producing their own drone. What does it take us to do? Get the drone they use in South Africa, produce in South Africa. Good morning, sir. You have a present in Lagos.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mazi Okorafo. Dr. Shinkafi, we'll just take a quick break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back and we'll continue this conversation.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to journalists' hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays 1:30 p.m.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crimes of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe it's achievable. with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. I'm Adedoja Salamadiniyi. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Okay, welcome back. Our guest is still a security consultant, Dr. Sani Abdullahi Shinkafi. He's also Executive Director, Patriots for Advancement of Peace and Social development. Let's go to the social development part, of your interests as well. Because I don't know the extent to which this factors in. We do know that we have a serious problem on our hands. Governor Zulum is naturally worried, and he has always incessantly been advising, and he says that in fact, he's so courageous. All the papers are carrying as a headline, a quote from him where he says that well, he didn't say it, but it is implied that if the needful is done, then it can't happen again. What has happened in the past where terrorists and bandits have occupied our local councils, that it won't happen again. But all that is predicated on our being able to do the needful. And Dr. Shinkafi, as you heard, the last caller, Mazi Okorafo, he sort of highlighted the whole social development of the people, lifting the people out of the severe situation that they find themselves in. They can't go to the farm, rustlers, cattle rustlers, and all of that. Talk to me a bit about the contributory factors, in spite of the, Herculean, efforts of Governor Zulum, his incessant efforts. And we said it before, most people will agree, brave efforts, but this is going to take more than, positive thinking and, these kind of speeches.
Yeah, you see, the most disheartening things in this issue of insurgency, armed banditry, kidnapping for ransom, it has some psychological, emotional, and social trauma. People have been displaced from their ancestral homes. They were rendered homeless. Many of them were businesses they closed businesses. They have abandoned their farmlands. They cannot farm. They cannot go to school. So it has serious humanitarian consequences. And also people will be so vulnerable to poverty, chronic poverty. So with what the last caller said, Chief Mazi Okoronko, the denial of local government funds to local government for over 2 decades is one of the root factors of insecurity in the northern Nigeria or in Nigeria, and also is one of the root factors of underdevelopment. Local government councils have been denied their funds. Some of their funds are being diverted, siphoned by state governors for 2 decades. But with the judgment of the Supreme Court, which up to now, some of the state governors have not been channeling this money or from the federation account. Some of the local government have not been receiving their funds directly into their local government accounts. So the local governments we have can also help in the recruitment of these National Forestry Guards. This National Forestry Guard is a welcome development if it is being properly utilized. They should be trained to fight these kidnappers, armed bandits, cattle rustlers, insurgents. And also it will help on the security gap we have to complement the conventional security in the fight against this insecurity. And they will also help in the environmental protection. What I have said earlier, they will help to checkmate the procession of forests. And equally, if they have been properly trained and they are to bear arms, they know the terrain. They will help the security agencies in the community engagement with the locals. So these are some of the advantages of recruiting these national forestry guards. But they should be recruited through the local government council, because these are the people who know the terrain, who know all the hideouts of this criminal in the forest. So the activities of these insurgencies have drastically inflicted abject poverty, chronic psychological and social disorder, and put insecurity
and
in
trauma
Nigeria.
on the people. Trauma.
Yes, yeah, psychological trauma.
You know, well, you see, one of the good things about Governor Zulum and his attitude is that he's really encouraging all to keep hope high in spite of, I mean, we've got to use what we have to get what we want. And he seems to be encouraging people to keep hope high. But there's an urgent need for aid, assistance to come in, which happily the president himself spoke about and offered. And Governor Zulum was, quite pleased with that. In fact, that is where the whole headlines that you see in the papers this morning, that following his meeting with the president, he said that no local council will be considered. But then that has to be backed up with specialist action. And by specialist...
you see, able, responsible Nigerians must salute the courage and the spirit of Governor Umar Babagana Zulum. But I want him to know that his hands are tied. He's only the chief security officer of the state on paper. He's only chief executive officer of Borno State, and he's only the chief logistic officer of Borno State. What he should do the needful in providing logistic support to these armed forces, and to give them courage, and also to encourage the locals to expose informants, because he made an allegation that some military personnel, politicians, and the communities domicile in those communities are also aiding and abetting this Boko Haram ISWAP. So they are giving them a better information how to attack this military formation. What the findings he made in Marte, because he was in Marte for 4 days, and he visited all these major affected area. But the courage he put, the determination he shows in this fight, he has built confidence, and he also make the locals to be very resilient or to resist these insurgents. And with the effort he put, follow the military, entering APC career with the military. No any governor, I challenge all the governors in Nigeria, none of them can did what Zulum did. Many of them they are fearing to die. So these criminals have only one life, and the only way to fight them is to face them stand still. And what is going on now in Borno State, all right-thinking Nigeria and responsible Nigeria must engage in fasting and prayer to pray for the armed forces, to pray for Zulum, and to pray for the community. But what I want Zulum to know, that his hands are tied. his hands are tied. The government has to do the needful, provide adequate security personnel in Borno State, provide equipment to the military, and also to make sure that they should be giving them some incentives, some motivations.
Yeah.
Per day, the allowances they are paying a security personnel who is on duty, 3,000 naira. What can you buy with 3,000 with the devaluation of naira in Nigeria? The purchasing power of Nigerian currency have drastically reduced. So there is need for these armed forces to be highly motivated.
Yeah.
The government should do everything humanly possible to cater their welfare and their safety.
Well,
many of them who have been killed in the war ground, their pension and gratuity and the death benefit of this personnel are not being paid to their families.
Well,
many of them have been run away from the battleground. They need to be motivated.
Indeed.
The management magazine say why the people do work and why people refrain from do work. People do work for self-actualization, and so people do work for incentives. So as more you are giving motivation or you are giving incentives to workers, they will be happy to do the work with all manners of courage and determination.
Indeed. Well, Dr. Shinkafi, we're going to have to leave it here because, and you know, as we have indicated in the program, I think Dr. Zulum, you know, Professor Zulum, what we have on our hands here is a man who refuses to give up, and he believes in the president, and that's why this is not unknown to the president, but still, he has gone back to the president and was later on addressing the press and saying that he believes, he knows that the government will do something. And if it weren't so, we shouldn't even be talking about that, because it was the president himself who had initiated that particular point, that forest guards will be, you know, inaugurated. The executive order has gone out. And so all of what you have said in this program, shared on this program, I suppose all of those things will have to be brought to bear. And
Mr. President, you know, as a commander at your armed forces of the portfolio of Nigeria, has been bestowed with the responsibility of providing security and welfare of the people as enshrined in Nigerian constitution.
And that is the confidence.
Zulu has to come down to the villa and brief Mr. President on the real security situation in Borno State, because he's the chief executive officer of Borno State.
That's right.
And that is a constitutional responsibility also.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the program this morning, Dr. Sonny Shinkafi. We really appreciate your coming on. Thank you very much. We leave it here for now. Okay, so that's our program today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folare. Bye-bye for now.
TVC News Weekend Lineup. TVC Breakfast Saturday with Kemi Fola Adeyemo and Emmanuel Ajayi. Political Standpoint with Precious Amayo. Newsweek with Mark Otabo. Politics and Sunday with Femi Akonde. Community Forum with Sarah Yeku. Get ready for the biggest stories, fresh perspectives, and burning news discussions that round up the weekend. Only on TVC News. Muhammad Ali was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky on January 17, 1942. His birth name was Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. He began training as an amateur boxer at age 12, and at 18 he won a gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the 1960 Summer Olympics and turned professional later that year. In his early years as a professional, Clay was more highly regarded for his charm and personality than for his ring skills. He sought to raise public interest in his fights by reading childlike poetry and spouting self-descriptive phrases like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. On February 25, 1964, at age 22, he pulled off a major upset, defeating Sonny Liston to win the World Heavyweight Championship. That same year, he shocked the boxing establishment again by denouncing his birth name as a slave name and formally took the name Muhammad Ali, which was given to him by his spiritual mentor Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation of Islam. For the next 3 years, Ali dominated the boxing arena. Muhammad Ali retired from boxing in 1981 and focused on his religion, philanthropy, and activism. In 1984, he made public his diagnosis of Parkinson's syndrome, which some reports attributed to boxing-related injuries, though he and his specialist physicians disputed this. He remained an active public figure globally, but in his later years made fewer public appearances as his condition worsened, and he was cared for by his family. Ali was chosen to light the Olympic flame at the start of the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia. He died on June 3rd, 2016.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers.
Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call permanent solutions.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Welcome to TVC News. I am Esther Makwariola. President Bola Tinubu is in Lagos State ahead of the events marking the 50th anniversary of the Economic Community of West African States. President Tinubu is leading Nigeria's leg of the Golden Jubilee celebration, which was officially flagged off back in April in Accra, Ghana. The Economic Community of West African States was formed to provide regional economic cooperation, which has since evolved to include political and military integration as well. And the union was established on the 28th of May, 1975, with the signing of the Treaty of Lagos with its stated mission to promote economic integration across the region. Well, ECOWAS, also known as CEDEAO in French and Portuguese, is a regional political and economic union of 12 countries of West Africa. The president of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Touare, is also expected to deliver the welcome address. And on Saturday, President Tinubu will inaugurate a number of infrastructure projects under his administration. The president is also expected to return to Abuja after his engagements in Lagos.
This celebration would not only be a moment of rejoicing, but also a moment of reflection and introspection.
Well, in other news now, the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, says the ministry is reviewing the Universal Basic Education Commission Act to ensure that basic education is repositioned to provide quality education that meets the country's developmental goals. Maiwa Okwato reports.
This quarterly meeting is themed on assessed and unutilized matching grants by the states, Nigerian child at the receiving end. At this meeting, the Benue State Governor highlights his administration achievements. Through innovation and strategic reform, Governor Alia talks about the commitment in revamping the basic education.
Well, let's return to our latest story on the ECOWAS summit, and joining me now is our correspondent Sharon Ejason to bring us latest developments on this. Sharon, what more would we know about the ECOWAS summit, and who are the likely guests we're expecting at this noble event?
Good morning here in Lagos, Nigeria. And at the event here today, we have presidents from 13 African countries present for the 50th anniversary celebration of ECOWAS coming together as an entity. At this program here, which is taking place at NIA, we are having presidents of the 13 various countries signing a reenactment document, reaffirming their commitment towards the founding fathers and the commitment towards towards the commitment of ECOWAS as an entity. So right now, as we speak, we have the presidents of the country. They're at an inner chamber at NIA, and what they're doing right now is a little bit of familiarization and discussion. And in some few minutes' time, they would go into the chamber, which was the first chamber that they all met. The presidents of African countries met 50 years ago in Lagos State, Nigeria, where they actually formed ECOWAS and the treaty was signed.
And from the itinerary you mentioned, do we have much more in terms of what the discussions would look like? What are we expecting? What are the kinds of engagement we are to see in the few hours from now?
Right now, as we speak, for the treaty, the reaffirming declaration document that is going to be signed today, that's going to take place in the next one hour. Later on in the afternoon, be a ceremony at Eco Hotels and Suites, where all the presidents and delegates would be present to have several conversations towards how the African continent can actually progress and improve in the years to come. But this morning, as we speak, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is the host country, is on ground, and other presidents from 12 other countries are also around as we speak, and they're about to sign the document to reaffirm the commitment of their member countries towards the progress of ECOWAS. You would remember that we have 3 other countries that have actually left ECOWAS, which is Niger. We also have Mali and Burkina Faso. They are not under the government right now. right now as we speak, we know that those 3 countries, we have military authority that have taken over leadership in those countries. So as we speak right now, in some few minutes time now, they will sign the document reaffirming their commitment towards ECOWAS. All right, we'll keep a tab on you on this latest development. Our correspondent live for us in Lagos, Sharon Ejason. We appreciate the updates there. Well, let's return to our earlier story where the Minister of Education, Tunji Alawasa, says the ministry is reviewing the Universal Basic Education Commission Act to ensure that basic education is repositioned to provide quality education that meets the country's development goals. Mayowa Okwato reports.
This quarterly meeting is themed on Unassessed and Unutilized Matching Grants by the states, Nigerian child at the receiving end. At this meeting, the Benue State Governor highlights his administration's achievements. Through innovation and strategic reform, Governor Alia talks about the commitment in revamping the basic education sector and restoring the dignity of teachers, pointing out that the ongoing recruitment of 9,700 teachers in the state and the immediate implementation of 75,000 naira minimum wage. He calls on participants to cross-fertilize ideas that would facilitate the development of basic schools across the country.
We have moved from rhetoric to results by aligning decisively with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda through the strategic reforms and visible investments in basic education.
The Federal Minister of Education also commits to increased advocacy for quality-based education, which he noted was a fundamental right of every Nigerian child.
The ongoing effort to review the Universal Basic Education Act 2024 have gained momentum following a recent public hearing organized by the National Assembly.
UBEC is undertaking several reforms. One of them is the introduction of revision of the UBE matching grant formula.
On our part, the Executive Chairman, Benue State Universal Basic Education Board, Grace Adagba, appreciated Governor Alia for supporting the board to achieve the success it recorded within 2 years and promised to ensure improved quality of learning at the basic education level in Benue State.
We hope that this meeting will not only foster the exchange of best practices across states, but also strengthen our collective resolve to ensure that no Nigerian child is left behind due to bureaucratic bottlenecks.
She also thanked the Federal Ministry of Education and Universal Basic Education Commission for choosing Benue State as a destination for this year's meeting with Chairman of SUBEB. Mayowa Okwato, TVC News, Makudi.
Well, let's take you now to Edo State, where the governor, Monday Okweolu, wants children across the state to embrace education and dream big. Well, speaking at Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium during this year's Children's Day celebration, the governor reaffirmed his administration's commitment, to supporting children toward a brighter future. Valentin Osumbo reports.
Recognizing the roles of children in national development, Governor Okweolu continued to demonstrate his commitment to inspiring young minds across the state. Since assuming office, he has prioritized quality education and student welfare, creating an environment where children can thrive. At Ogbemudia Stadium, he presented 2 buses to winners of the Governor's Cup, both male and female category.
Congratulations to you. Today, we celebrate your energy, your dream, and your hope you bring to our future. I also want to remind you from my heart to always choose the right path. Say no to cultism and anything that can harm your future.
A day that not only honors the vibrant spirit of our children, but affirms our collective responsibility to protect, nurture, and empower them. Our state theme, Adult Children, Our Future, Our Responsibility, serves as a powerful reminder that the duty of raising secure, confident, and capable children is one that we all share.
For the children, the gesture will motivate them to aim higher and achieve success in all their careers.
I feel excited seeing, first of all, the gaming activities and to see the governor face to face today.
The celebration featured a variety of activities, from football matches to a colorful march past. Students with special need were also proudly represented.
I've been hearing what he's doing. Yes, I thank him. He has been doing good based on education sectors and all. But I am still asking him to come to the special schools to meet us. People like we now, we know our needs, that he should come, so that he should come and meet us, so that he asks us what our needs, so we can say what we want.
Beyond infrastructure, Governor Okpebholo is focused on building a generation of successful, well-rounded students. Valentine Osumbo, TVC News, Benin.
And to Imo State, where the wife of the state governor, Chioma Uzodinma, says the government is committed to child welfare and educational development. And speaking of this year's Children's Day celebration in Owerri, Mrs. Uzodinma urged the children to embrace discipline, patriotism and self-belief, as the government is committed to their well-being. And she has advised the children to shun social vices but strive for excellence through hard work and integrity.
Here in Imo State, we are working joyfully to make your world even more wonderful, where every child feels valued and loved. As proud children of our beautiful state, I encourage you to continue being amazing, kind to your friends, respectful to your parents and teachers, and always ready to help others with a smile. Do you know what's truly exciting? Every single one of you has the power to make the world brighter and better. Your fresh ideas, innocent wisdom, and genuine hearts.
You're still on to TVC Midday News. We have more stories after this break. Stay with us.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Experience information and entertainment like never before as TVC Breakfast takes your weekends to a whole new level. Introducing TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, your ultimate source of thrilling sports updates, insightful political analysis, and captivating entertainment news. Stay in the know with what's trending, catch up with the latest in sports, and immerse yourself in the latest buzz from the world of music and movies. Your weekends are no longer just days off, but moments packed with knowledge, excitement, and enjoyment. TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, only on TVC News.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to journalists' hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays, 1:30 p.m.
Well, if you just joined us, you're watching TVC Midday News. Now, in a bid to strengthen Nigeria's grassroots economy, the Minister of Women Affairs, Iman Sulaiman Ibrahim, has reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to building an agriculturally driven and inclusive economy. Senior reporter Ademola Lawrence has more on this.
In a significant move towards economic empowerment in Nigeria's northern region, women from Borno and Zamfara states have unified to form a cooperative society that prioritizes financial inclusion, agricultural development, and entrepreneurial support. This initiative seeks to offer market women and farmers enhanced access to credit, training, and trade networks, ultimately boosting their capacity to grow their business and contribute to national economic output. According to stakeholders, market women play a vital role in Nigeria's informal economy, especially in the north, where they make up a substantial share of smallholder farmers and traders.
This convention is to foster economic growth in the businesses in Nigeria. We, the marketmen and women, are the economic builders. We are the one building the economy of any nation, and the nation Nigeria cannot survive without economy boosters like us. We are the microeconomy policy makers in the market space, and we are the one boosting the growth